Oh, I was never charging? That's weird. Hmm. How would this look? That big or too small? I kind of want to try that out, but it might be a little too tiny. To get the details, yeah, it might be too tiny to get the details in. Okay, maybe. Guess we don't really have any other options. Stick with this for now. Okay, here we go. 105 for today. Tokoro Sho. Oh, that's crazy. Hmm, how do I make the little menu pop up? Here we go. Tokoro Sho place. Totsutsu. This is cylinder, I think. Nice. Sen erabu to choose. Shoot. Crap. Did I forget this one? No, wait, no, I didn't. That's not right. It's this. Damn, I'm drawing just a crazy blank right now. Shoot. I forget. I give up. Okay. What? Is that right? Try this again. Oh, okay, that's why. It's like this. Okay. Sen erabu to choose. Kiku ko for something to be effective. It's kind of ugly though. There we go. Koka. Kiku to be effective. Koka, effectiveness. Kyusei no sei. So this Kyusei means like a maiden name. So Kyusei would be, you'd get the girl in there. Then you have this in there. Sei. Kyusei. Surname. Uh, Matsurigoto Seisho. This is like justice, politics, politics. Seiji, which means politics. Matsurigoto Seisho. To close. Shimaru tojiru. Oh, that's ugly. Come on. Hey, to close. Heiten, when the shop shuts down. Shimaru tojiru, which is like to close a book. Dorobo means like robber. Doro itself means like mud. And I think it's this. Nice. 若いもしくは逆。Just young. Wakai. No, I wrote that wrong. Check the stroke around that. It's supposed to be downwards, and then horizontal. Whew. Mm-hmm. Hikari means like light. And this is also the ko in like kanko, which means like tourist. Kanko kyaku, which means tourist. Kanko means like to do sightseeing. Okay. Fune is like boat. Seki in this case is like the counter for a boat. So like one boat, two boat. And on this one, I believe it is just this. And then I think that's it. Yeah, nice. Fune no Seki. Wazagi, this is like an ability or a weapon. More like ability. I think ability is better. Wazagi. This is like one of those extra kanji there is. Start off with this, have the little watermark, have this line. That's so much. And I made this like really long. Technically, the bottom of the kanji should end right here. So let's start again. Let's try one more time. There you go, something like that. And usui means like very thin, pale, uh, kind of like see-through, light layered. Okay. Teisha. Teisha. Te means like to stop. And teisha means like you hear that in trains all the time in Japan. It means like the trains where they will stop. So kaku, you'll hear the word like kakueki teisha. This train stops at every station. Te. Shoot. Yoso. Okay, I think I got it. All right. Yep. Yoso show. So this means like to decorate or to dress. It's kind of a hard kanji. Sue matsu. So on this one, something important to note in mind. So this one is matsu, so like the end of something, right? Like the end of month, or like a getsu matsu, or end of a week, shu matsu, which is a weekend essentially. But there's a difference between this and then this. So on this one, obviously, this the top one is longer, and on this one, the bottom one's longer. They're different kanji. Something I didn't really notice, and honestly, even in the typed version, it's kind of hard to tell unless you really look at it. Um, that one is like Matsu, and then the other. What is? I forgot what this one even reads as. I think it's shoot, I'm trying to think here. Is it like me? Let me try this out. You know what? I can't even. I'll look it up later. Can't even type on this because I don't remember the pronunciation. Whoops. I e yoru. Hmm. I think this is like to depend on, in which case it would be something like this. Yes. Okay, we're good. Izon is like addiction or dependency. Izon. Yoru means like depending on. So like someone asks like, "Hey, do you want to go to the store or something?" And then he says you can just say like um 誰々による. It's up to you. It's up to the person that you're saying. So that's that type of depend on. Totsu, so this is like totsu you often see you'll see it in words like totsuzen, which means like suddenly or instantly. But in this, it means totsu by itself just means like stab or to like prick or something. So, oh man, I'm like blanking out on this kanji. How do you write it? Hey, thanks, Neko. Appreciate it. We're trying to grind. We're trying to learn over here. And man, if there's one thing, I'm the worst candidate to learn something like kanji. Like when it comes to socializing, talking, I'm all about that. But when it comes to like sitting down and just kind of memorizing stuff, like that's been my Achilles heel. And I used kind of like this whole Corona time to really you know, try and learn something new. So this is one of the things that I was focusing on. Uh, and we're making slow but steady progress. Can't complain. So I mean, not right now because I just got this kanji wrong. Totsu, so actually, yeah, like stab, prick. But then you can say like Totsuzen, like I mentioned, which means like suddenly. Tatsu tachi. This is like tomodachi, like that type of tachi. Haitatsu, like delivery or something. So let's go ahead and write this out. Yeah, okay, we got it right. So again, the kanji for ground or dirt at the top, little pillars, three lines, and then vertical down, and then we got the squiggly diggly. That's what I like to call this one. So again, this is what you see like in tomodachi, right? Or hitotachi, people. So it's kind of like plural. It makes things plural, I think. It's a good way to kind of think of it too. Okay, sen erabu again. So we got this one wrong earlier. But again, it does mean like erabu means to choose. Sen is also the kanji used in a word called senshu, which means like athlete. Senkyo means like election. So it kind of has stuff to do with choose, right? Jokyo situation. Let's go ahead and write this one out. It's a pretty common word. You'll hear that a lot whether you watch anime, whether you watch dramas, or you just speak in class. Jokyo is a very common word. Sai, so this is the sai in saifu, like wallet. Why do I know this? Because I got this kanji wrong a couple days ago. So saifu, this means kind of like money, goods, wealth. You can see here saifu. Ooh, we got a tough one. Kokuseki means like your nationality or citizenship to a country. So I gotta figure this one out. think that's right. We did it. We got it. So Kokuseki. Nice. The word seki by itself means register, right? But kokuseki means like I said, nationality. I had a very interesting conversation when I was teaching in Japan about with my students because you know Japan is a very homogenous country, right? So uh, the people, even in Japan, when people think of Japanese people, a Japanese person, they have a very kind of they have an idea of what a Japanese person should look like, for lack of like a better word. But I had this whole conversation about like what makes somebody Japanese? Like, do you think it's more race or do you think it's more of a nationality thing? And it was a really interesting discussion. And it was a bunch of like middle schoolers, and they were just discussing, debating, and some were disagreeing, some were agreeing. I have my own views, of course, but I didn't want to inject it on the class. But that was one of the more interesting classes I had for sure. So, itanam. Okay, this is the kanji in eigyo, which means like business. By itself means like to manage. Eigyo is like business. So when you go to a restaurant, right, it might have the words "egyo chu." Oops, that's ugly. And that means like it's running, it's in business, and a lot of restaurants will kind of shut down for dinner prep between 3 to 5, and so they won't have this sign up. So when a sign has this up, then you know you can go in and actually go to the restaurant. Keisatsu no kei. Okay. Keisatsu, of course, is police. So keisatsu no kei would be something like this. This is one of those huge kanjis. Like this kanji is really hard for me to write because not necessarily like of course it has a bunch of different strokes. But honestly, it's the amount of stuff that you got to cram, and it's like a Big Mac of kanji, you know? There's so much stuff to it, but if you break it down, it's actually it's not that bad. It's a little easier to remember if you know a couple things. So, one thing, so this is Kei Satsu, right? This, oh, sorry, let me write this in English as well, just in case. Kei Satsu, and this means police. The word K actually also can mean like respect. So you think about that, right? Like song K, which means to respect. And believe it or not, this top half right here by itself actually means K. So when you're thinking of Keisatsu, it's easier to kind of remember those two kanji, Keisatsu, song K, and then respect, like you're supposed to respect the authority or whatever. So you have that up here. And then the one at the bottom is just the word for like to say. So you could just think like a cop is saying like respect me. That's how I remember it. So but again, it's still hard to write just because there's so much stuff on it. All right, moving on to yeah. So K by itself in this context just means like to admonish, to warn, like what a police officer would do. Zoku. Okay, Zoku is like the kanji that appears in Renzoku. That's really ugly, which means like continuously or in a row, kind of, right? And that would be this is Zoku. Good stuff. So Zoku by itself means continue. Suzuku Tsuzukeru means to continue, right? But then Renzoku means like in a row. Oh shoot, which one is this one? Shirizoku Tai. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think. Aha, yeah, Shirizoku Tai. Okay, that means to like withdraw. I think I got that right. Yep, we got it right. So, Shirizoku by itself means to pull out of something, to withdraw from something. Tai is what you will hear a lot for like when somebody's retiring, you'll hear intai. When somebody is being checking out from the hospital, it'll be like taiin. So it just means to like pull out or withdraw from something. Oh, I haven't seen this guy in a long time. Shio just means salt. And then enbun. So if you're looking at, I did a whole YouTube video on this to read nutrition labels in Japan. So whereas we just call it like sodium, they have a whole thing like enbun, the amount of salt in it, and it's um I think ours is written like in milligrams, so it's straight up written out as like 800 milligrams, or like if you're eating like cup ramen or something, it'll be like 1800 milligrams. They'll write it in grams, so it'll be really deceptive. It'll be like 1.8. You're like, that's not that bad, not knowing that you're actually eating 1800 milligrams of salt. So, got to be careful about that. Heru gen. Okay, heru means decrease, right? So, oh shoot, I hope I'm not getting this wrong, but I think it's this. We got it. Although I could have done a little better with this guy. I should have had that, but that's being super picky. Again, heru, decrease. Hara ga hetta. So you can say when you say I know I'm kind of flip-flopping between kind of medium to kind of high-level Japanese to very basic. I just don't know what the audience is like, so I like to just cover everything. But you can say onaka ga hetta or hara ga hetta, which means like my stomach is empty, aka I'm hungry. Uh, this is just zo gen. This is zo means increase. Gen, we just covered it, means decrease. So it's like increase or decrease of something. What is this? Hell, herasu. This means to actively decrease something. So this is from your point of view, herasu. Oh shoot, seikatsu just means like lifestyle. Katsu means like activity. So you hear this in like bukatsu, which is club activities, which are very common in Japanese schools. Seikatsu just means lifestyle, like I mentioned before, like somebody's living a good, healthy lifestyle, bad lifestyle, whatever. Katsudo means some any sort of activity. All right, so this guy's making an appearance again. We did get this wrong earlier. Again, this comes from, I like to think of the kanji in like Totsuzen, which means suddenly, or yeah, suddenly. But in this by itself just means like prick or pinch, stab, prick. Kensa means like examination of something. So not like a test, but like an examination of something to inspect something. So ken would be this. That is ken. And this also means like to examine, right? So this is kensa. And then this is kuruma, so like shaken, which is like your car examination. So I explained this fact a little while ago, but I guess it doesn't have the best katsu is katsudon. Man, you are not wrong about that one. I miss having Japanese food like at my fingertips, Like I'm really excited to hopefully move back soon. If the borders open up by the end of the year, I'll be moving back to Japan. But I mean, as soon as they do, I'm hoping they do by the end of the year, and hopefully I'll be living. My plan is to be living in the city of Osaka, and man, I'll be having katsudon. I'll be having takoyaki. I'll be eating all kinds of stuff, and then hopefully by that time, once I'm there, the vlog content will be more about like I'll have a couple of things. I'm still going to continue my Japanese studies, right? I still want to be improving my Japanese and stuff like that, but uh I think by that time I'll have more content to put out as like, fun viewer content because not everybody's going to be studying Japanese. I know, honestly, when I'm doing this, it's not really the goal isn't right now just to, have like a million viewers or something. I'm doing this because I want to kind of create a study environment for whoever may want to study, but also more for myself as well. But it'd be cool to have like, people watching my content like they did before for just stuff I'd be up to. So that's great. Can't wait to go back to. Very excited for your Osaka videos. Neko, are you gonna be going back to Japan? Did you live there or what were you up to there? Okay, this is like you ever hear got it. So this is like like Dono, like you'll hear like somebody's there's some nani nani san, then there's nani nani sama, like the next level up. Sama is like quite high already. Dono is like the exalted. So you'd hear that a lot in like old anime and stuff or old dramas where there'd be like samurai culture, like very somebody that's very very high up there, in respect to where your position is in society. Lived in Nagoya, dude. So I love Nagoya specifically for their food. Their food scene is just top notch. So whenever I have several friends from Nagoya, and every time I'm like, man, I want to go to Nagoya. The Nagoya Japanese people always say, why? There's nothing to do in Nagoya. I'm like, I don't know. I'm not talking about like sightseeing to like, see whatever. I mean, you got the castle and all that stuff, but when I say I want to go to Nagoya, it's for the food, man. Their miso, their all that stuff is just so, so good. So yeah, Dono means like the exalted. So you can say like Fahad Dono, which means like, a it's above Sama, so it's very, very high. But it also just means like, area like a hall or something. So Kyuden, which means like a palace. Yoru yoseru ki. Okay, this is this. Awesome. Were you doing that like a study abroad? Ah, that's so ugly. Breath, Tameki. Okay. Ooh, fukuro. Okay, this is like a bag. Oops. Teaching an eikaiwa is something I wanted to try before. Oh, that is awesome. Eikaiwa, huh? See, I find that experience, I wish I would have had, like, I did the JET program, right? So I wish I had a year of also doing something like an eikaiwa because I feel like that's got to be such a cool experience to um, teach, like, fully grown adults that are there with the purpose of learning language. So your audience is probably going to be a lot more, like, engaged and maybe not like shy because not less shy because I guess that's more of a Japanese trait, but they're way more, earnest in their learning versus Japanese with classrooms where you never know what you're going to get. It just depends on the group of people. So that's pretty cool. And so after that experience, you liked what you experienced and you want to go back? Semai, of course, just means like narrow. Kyoko. So the onyomi for this kanji, I have a little bit of a hard time remembering. Henkyo. Okay. Sugi just means like next. That's awesome. Yeah, I bet, man. Man, having because then honestly, like I had a couple of friends that taught at Eikaiwas too, because and they would tell me like afterwards, if you became friends with people, you could just go grab a drink with some people, kind of hang out. And as opposed to having like a very kind of student-teacher relationship, it was more like kind of like what tutoring would be kind of in college, right? Where you'd go to like the tutoring center and it'd just be another college kid teaching you something that they're really good at, and then you could hang out later. So that sounds really cool. That's cool. Oh, as far if you don't mind me asking, what's your career that you wanted to do later, or that I guess that you're doing now? Zo nikumu means to hate, like hatred. Okay, to koru kogoeru means like freeze, frozen. Jumbi no jun. Jumbi. Okay. Dude, I always get this one wrong. Why do I always get this one wrong? Nope, that's not right. Forget. Close. Jumbi no jun. So I got this one wrong. Jumbi, of course, means like preparation. I'm a behavior therapist, but that got squashed after a few years to help my fiance run his business. Teaching kids with autism was tough but rewarding. Oh, that is awesome. That is so cool that you were doing stuff like that. That got fiance runs his business. And so you, after doing that, you're now kind of, are you still supporting your fiance in his business, or um, are you going to eventually try and get back into behavior therapy? So this guy I got wrong yesterday. Means like to hit, to be selected. Tozen is a kind of word that you'll hear quite often in dialogue and in anime especially. You'll hear a lot of very dramatic evil villains say Tozen or something like that. Something like that. Gotta. I'm trying not to swear, so that's my. I've been trying to be good about that. Even in the vlog that I put out a couple days ago, I went back and I was like, man, I used to just casually drop f bombs everywhere, and I was like, let me edit those out, make this family friendly. Mukashi, it just means long, long ago, long time ago. Okay, cho arawasu. So this means like author, chosha. Who knows? You've all been thrown a curveball this past year. Oh no, don't worry about distracting. I love interacting whenever. I don't get. I mean, I only started this like less than a week ago, but we don't get a lot of people in the chat around here, so I don't mind talking at all. But that is, yeah, this year has been kind of crazy, huh? I'm just, hoping for everything to get back to normal soon. I'm not sure where you're located, but in the States, I'm in Texas, so things are getting a little, I guess, I mean, Texas has always been kind of relaxed with how things have been going on, and obviously to its detriment for a long time. But thankfully now with people either have had the vaccine or have had COVID and recovered, so it's getting not as intense over here, but the vaccine rollout's going pretty well. So I really hope things are gonna, you know, turn turn the corner and then the world kind of gets back to normal soon. Oh shoot. erai means like erai just means like how do I explain the word erai? Nothing. It's not really hard or anything. It just means like kind of up there, like superior, somebody that's superior, remarkable, great. So there's erai, which means superior, and then there's a word which means eraso, which means trying to act superior, high and mighty. And I thought that's used quite often I remember when I was teaching, whenever whenever the teacher would try to be like, all right, guys, we got to pay attention. You'd hear the kind of students whispering in the background, like, look at this guy, like all erasoni, like trying to be all, cool and great and, whatever. So it's kind of cold-blooded because I could hear it. I'm not sure if the teacher heard it. Who knows? He probably did, but kids can be cold, man. Soko te. This is like bottom, like you can say like kokoro no soko, which means like from the bottom of my heart. But right now I gotta figure out how the heck to write this thing. Hold up. I think it's this. Yes, we got it. And actually, now that I think about it, this actually kind of makes sense. So this kanji, so I remember I said it's the bottom or like, and when you think bottom, you think low, right? This guy is the kanji in low. So that kind of makes sense. Kawaii ojiru fu. Okay, why am I blanking on this? Dude, I know it's like this, but what's on this side? Is that right? Let's try. I'm gonna try from the beginning. We got it. Nice. Kawaii just means scary. Kyofu, which means like fear, dread. Kare just means like he or him. We could say kare she, which means boyfriend. Oh, this just means like isho, together. I could definitely write that neater. See, I'm already losing my balance here. Together. Isho. Oh, so I guess I think of this as together because I always hear the word isho, but technically it just means like beginning, which I don't know how to describe it. It's like naisho means like secret, so you keeping it the secret between the two of you, so it's like staying together between the two of you. I like to think of it more as together, but I guess the technical definition in the dictionary is beginning or string in the case of musical instrument. Hey Will, what's going on? Man, it's just a Monday, trying to get through everything. Had some work today. Had no class, so I have just this week where I have some finals. I have a presentation tomorrow. And an exam, I think, on Wednesday or Thursday. And then I'll be graduating next weekend, so pretty excited about that. Do I still keep in touch with people I met? Oh yeah, for sure. Um, even after I came back to the States, I still went to Japan every year. Every winter, I would go and visit my old students, visit my old friends. And this past year, unfortunately, I couldn't go, but I still have friends that live in Tokyo and Osaka, in Hokkaido, like kind of all over the place that I still have like random Zoom conversations with. I'll still use Line to communicate with them. So yeah, I definitely do. You don't want to lose those relationships, man. Like it's honestly it's so hard. It's like weirdly hard to become To make friends with Japanese people is quite easy. They're very friendly, very nice, very especially when you get them in like a bar setting, like it's really nice. But to become like close friends with Japanese people, that's tough. That would be tough with anybody, I think, that speaks a different language from you, just because communication becomes an issue. But so the few very close Japanese friends I do have, I definitely try my best to just really hold on to those relationships. Shin nobiru nobasu. This means to like stretch out. So I'm not sure if you guys heard that. But by the way, can you guys hear? I hope you guys can still hear the whole system running. But um, I mentioned this a couple of times before. But when I'm making these cards, sometimes my girlfriend will be on like FaceTime with me. She's Japanese, so she lives in Japan, and I'll be recording a card, and sometimes she'll throw her voice in there for the recording. And at first I was like, dude, what are you doing? These are my cards. I'm trying to learn. But then I realized like there's like 10, I think, in this deck of 1,000 that she's has her voice in, and they are just like ingrained in my head. Like I'll always know. Like sometimes I'll miss the kanji itself, but I'll definitely always know what the word means. So this one means kill. So I'm wondering why she wanted to record this one. Suku Q means like to save. That is so bad. Uh, save. So you'll hear like Kyusha, which means an ambulance. Tsuku, like tsukutte, which means to like save somebody or something. Tokubetsu no toku. Just like special, like a special something. So tokubetsu means special by itself, and then you'll see like in Japan if you're riding a train, tokyu means like the special rapid express or something. Ooh, I got this guy wrong earlier. Junbi means like preparation, but I think this one I have by itself means like standard. But Junbi, I like to remember it that way. Just preparation. Ame, rain. Pretty simple. The way I like to remember it is like, this is like a roof of a building. How do I like to remember this? This is like a weird kanji. Those are like little raindrops or whatever. Oops. All right, moving on. Making solid progress. I think we're halfway done already. Konban. Ban just means nighttime, right? So it would be something like this. There we go. Konban. Here, konbanwa or whatever, right? Good evening. Seki shaku akai. Okay, this means red. Oops. Wait a minute, something's up here. Okay, that's what it is. Dude, this kanji for red for some reason gives me a lot of trouble. I don't know why. So that's what it is. It's this at the top. Then it's these little lines. Seki shaku akai. Akachan, which means baby. I don't know why it's red, but it is. Sekido, equator. Okay, this means like to start or to like depart. So shuppatsu, like a train is taking off. We got it. We're on kind of a roll here today. Bio yamu. Bio means like byoki, like sick. I could do that better. The balance is kind of bad. Hold on. There we go. It's a little better. So you'll have byoki, which means like sickness. Yamu, which specifically means to fall ill. Basho no ba. So that would be this. And then ba, and then sho would just be. I think we did sho earlier, so basho. God, that's just terrible. Haku shiroi means white, but I think this is just it. This is it right here. White. If you were to take the N1 tomorrow, ooh man, that's a tough one. So I know I would fail. If I took the N1 tomorrow, I would fail. I would likely do really well on the listening, and it would be a matter of luck when it comes to the kanji because I can confidently say now, after studying kanji since like July of last year, that I can read or and write around 1,000 characters. Uh, Now, I can look at characters, and because I've seen them, so technically I haven't reviewed them yet, but I've seen them. I know what they mean typically, and I'll be able to recognize what the meaning is. But I wouldn't be confident right now. If I took the N2, I'd be confident right now. If I took the N1, I would not be confident. But we will see. So, unfortunately, in America, I think the N1 and the Japanese proficiency exam is only offered once a year, but in Japan, it's offered twice a year. So my plan, and in the States, at least in Texas, I don't know about the other cities, Houston is the only area that offers it, and it's available in December only. So I don't know if by that point, if I'll still be here or I'll be in Japan. But if I'm here or in Japan, I'm going to be taking the N2 exam. And then if by that time, hopefully by end of year, early next year, I pray to God that things are back to normal. At least you can travel. Because then my goal is for next summer, like 2022 summer, I want to take the N1. But I don't want to just take it. Like I'm not trying to just barely pass and get out of it. When I take it, I want to be able to, and that's why I'm kind of starting so early. I want to take it and I want to be able to kind of knock it out of the park. And I don't want to study for the exam. I want to learn Japanese and by my proficiency be able to take and do well on the exam, if that makes any sense. I know it's a very long drawn out explanation, but that's kind of how I'm imagining it. And it'll be nice to have on the resume, you know? Like I'm planning on sticking with my same job and just working remotely when I'm in Japan. It's a good job, you know, like it pays well, everything's nice. But if something comes along over there where there's like, hey, we want to give you like a huge stack of money, but you got to know Japanese, it's going to be nice to have like a proficiency exam certificate on my resume. Shukudai, just homework. Is that right? All right, we got it. Wadai. Shukudai means homework. Wadai means like topic of conversation. So instead of saying homework, well, like I said, it probably would have been better to say like subject or topic. Shi kami. This means paper. Nice. So we just reviewed this kanji, right? White hakushiroi. So hakushi means white blank paper, like a blank sheet of white paper. kodomo no ko, just this little guy. Shi is like a small particle, I guess. Bunshi, I think bunshi means like atom. Atom or molecule? Let's double check. I think it means atom. Oh, means molecule. How do I say atom? Genshi. Oh, so this is interesting. Uh, Gen means original. Isn't that cool? So it's the original little bit. That's pretty cool. It's the original child. All right, moving on to the next kanji. Horitsu. Okay, horitsu means like law. Ritsu, dude, this one always gets me, I swear. But I think this is it. Yes, we got it. Although I added a little tail here. See that little thing? I probably shouldn't have done that. It's probably better off like this. Like that. Horitsu no hitsu means law. Okay, moving on. Well, let's look at it first. Yep, Horitsu law. Moving on to the next one. Okay. Ippan means like in general, like ippanteki, like generally speaking. So this kanji is a little weird, at least in my opinion. We got it. And the reason I say weird, it's not because of the kanji itself, it's because of this guy right here, the left side. I really dislike all the weird ways the dots fit, because like you can't just write the dots straight. Like from what I understand, you still got to follow the direction in which they're going. So you got to write this dot that way, then you got to do this little thing, then you got to write the next dot that way, then you got to draw this line, and then you got to go here. So you see how the lines are going that way and then that way? Like you got to be conscious of that as you're writing these kanji. And that just takes practice, and I failed so many times until I finally got it right. Gakko, school, but I forgot this part. Is that right? I think that's it. Yes, we got it. Gakko. Yasai no ya, no. I'm gonna check the stroke art on that real quick. Okay, we got it. So yasai means vegetable. No is like you often see that in the way I used the word Nagano, which is a prefecture in Japan, but you also see it in names quite often. No, plains and fields is the meaning. Sen just means 1,000. That's really simple. Fu no, no, this means cloth. So now, if you remember, for anybody that was here from the beginning, we did sai zai in the beginning, right? So the word for wallet is sai fu, and this is fu. So it's like money cloth, essentially. Sai fu. Oh, so I just showed you guys the example with Nagano Prefecture when we were doing yasai, but and honestly, I'm still struggling with the balance of this kanji. But anyways, it means long. It means also means like boss. It's like shacho. is the president or the boss of a company. Oh, see, I got this wrong already. Now, this is a very small mistake, but you gotta, if you're taking the Kanji Kente exam, which is like the kanji proficiency exam, this would be wrong for many reasons, not to mention because the balance. But this isn't supposed to be there, so it's supposed to be this. Gotta be careful. So I gotta mark this one wrong. Chu naka means like inside. I have another chu naka in here, and that's this. When this one pops up again, I really gotta make sure I change the pronunciation or the card recording because even though they're both pronounced chu naka, they're kind of used differently. This is just inside or something, or in the middle of something. Like benkyochu, you're in the middle of benkyoing, you're in the middle of studying. But this is like used in like nakama, like friends or partners or something like that. So it's quite different. Benkyo no ben. So this would be study. Shoot. So this is kind of tricky. So jishin could also just as easily mean it depending on who's pronouncing it. Like if you're not really listening, like I'm not a Japanese speaker, so when I speak, I have like an accent, right? But jishin could also mean like confidence. So if I say jishin no ji, it could easily I could have interpreted that as this, right? Which is is that right? Yeah, self. But this is jishin no ji chi, which means land. So this is like earthquake. Q yasumu, holiday. Need one. Getting tired. It's been a long. The company I work at unfortunately doesn't recognize many holidays, so we don't really get like Easter, whatever, Good Friday off or whatever. We think we only get like six holidays for the year. So if you want to take time off, it's got to be PTO. So, but thankfully, I took a couple of days off at the end of this month after I'm gonna go up to the Northeast to hang out with some cousins. So it should be pretty fun. I need me some Yasumu time. Handan means like judgment. That's it. So if you look, this kanji right here is the kanji for han, which means half, and that's just by itself. So handan no han is the han for judgment, right? Hanbun no han, aka this, is the kanji for half. So pronunciation is the same. I guess they don't really have much of a relation as far as the meanings go, but as far as the pronunciations go, both have han. You just gotta know which one. All right, so this is just oh shoot, to say. And I mentioned this a couple times in my previous streams, but honestly, it really is the case where the simpler the kanji are, they tend to have the more pronunciations. Like gen, gon, yu, koto. Something like this would have like se, umareru, nama, so many other pronunciations. And the words themselves don't tend to be that hard, but it's hard to remember all the different ways to say it. Like for example here, this word. It has gengo, aka language, dengon, which means message. So this is already gen, this is already gon, this is you, so this is like to say, and then kotoba, which means word. So a lot of different ways to say it. And when you have this many pronunciations, honestly, of course it's good to know the kanji and what pronunciations there are, but at this point you just got to know the word. You know what I'm saying? You just got to have the kanji word memorized. Um, yeah, and honestly, for the most part, it's not going to be They're gonna be simple words. Like they're not gonna be very, very hard words. Zen, okay, this is just before or I didn't put the definition here, but it means before. San mitsu, very easy, just means three lines. I mean, I like how it does that. I like how one, two, and three are literally just one line, two line, and three lines. Once you master Japanese, any plans of studying another language? That is a good question, Will. You keep throwing good ones at me. Uh, I would. I'm always up for learning new things. I'm a sucker for knowledge, you know? So learning a new language would be really cool. The one key thing, um, if you're learning a language and if you really want to master it, is you really got to have a passion for the language itself. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really hard to devote the time, the energy needed to learn something as detailed as a language when you're just into like anime or something. Like you really have to enjoy the aspect of communication. So I'd have to find the language that resonates with me on that level. So I'm not quite sure what that would be. Um, I don't know. I mean, I can already speak Japanese, of course, English, of course, Urdu, which is the Pakistan language. I can speak Hindi, which is the Indian language. So, and Urdu and Hindi are kind of like hand in hand. They're very, very similar. It's like the difference of Portuguese and Spanish. So once you know one, you can get by with the other. But learning a fifth language would be pretty damn cool. I'm not gonna lie. I just got to know which one I'd be passionate about. You know, I'd have to find something like with Japanese. It started with the friends I made in school, with the experiences I had in college, as far as like my class. Like I took the class in my last semester of undergrad. It was a 4 credit class. I needed 4 credits to be a full-time student, and all my grants and scholarships relied on me being a full-time student. So I had to find a 4 credit hour class. And I was like, oh, Japanese. I used to watch Dragon Ball Z when I was a kid. Let's try it out. And that changed my whole life. Like I went from on the path to being in medical school to literally, in Japan and all that stuff. So um, obviously had a profound effect on me, and that's what drove me to keep learning and really kind of dive into it, 10 years later. So I don't think I'll ever find something I love that much again. It takes a lot out of you, and you have to, and I've been through so much with it, but hey, I'm always open, man. I'm always open to learn something new. Do you have any hobbies you're passionate about? Oh, yeah. Let me show you right now. Don't judge me on this. I love collecting shoes, man. I have a lot of shoes. I am a big time shoe collector, sneakerhead. I love fitness. I love weightlifting and stuff like that. Um, I love to travel. Like I have a lot of different things that I'm passionate about. And I think if I were to learn a language, it would have to be ignited through some sort of interaction with a person that I'm like, for example, let's say I run into somebody that's from Korea or France and they're just really cool and I become really cool friends with them. Or when I'm traveling somewhere, I'm just like, wow, I really love the culture of this place. Something like that would have to trigger it and then I'd have to get into it. So shoehead, yep, yes, sir. One day, one day, I guess I could just sit here and show you guys all my shoes, but I think that'll just take a long time. Hijo no hi. I think the definition of this is like bad. Oh yeah, like not good, but it just means like in this case, hijo means like extremely. Shoe channel in the future, man. If that market wasn't already completely saturated with like really good content creators, I would love to do something like that. But at this point, like every person is doing something. So it's hard to it'd be hard to get into that. I wouldn't mind like once I move to Japan, my plan is to have like, I've had this Fahad in Japan channel for years now, and it didn't really grow that much. Like, if you look at it, I've only had like 1,600 subs or something like that. So it wasn't anything like mega. Like, I could never be like a full-time YouTuber or something. But one thing so I think I'm gonna keep this channel just for like miscellaneous stuff. But my plan is to start a new channel, because I'm moving over there after I get married, and my, wife will be Japanese. So it'd be kind of like just like a vlog type interracial couple type thing where it's like a Japanese person and then like a Pakistani American person just kind of living life, like that type of vlog where we'd kind of do that type of content. But on that channel, I might throw in some things that I like sneakers, so you never know. Buy kau. Kaimono means to go shopping. Kau means just to buy. Okay, this guy again. So cho osa nagai. Again, long, and then like I guess president or leader. Shit. Ho yutaka. What does that mean? Oh, I remember now. See, this guy, I swear this one always gets me. Hosaku. This means abundance, success, stuff like that. So hosaku I think means like a good. Wow, I spelled harvest wrong. Okay. Good harvest. Okay, this is pretty simple. Just to think. Balance is kind of whack on this one. Almost to think. Oh, this means like heavenly. And I think this one has to be longer than on the top. But ten, you'd see like in tempura, like tempura. It does taste heavenly if you ask me. But tennen, which means like natural. So the word by itself, it's like how sometimes some words will have when you see it, you're like, oh, like nagai, it means long. Oops, right? It means long. That makes total sense. But then you'll have words that mean like heaven, and it doesn't necessarily always have something to do with heaven, you know? So I guess it's kind of like English too, some because of how many different root words we'll have. Some stuff makes sense, some stuff just doesn't make sense. Ichimai, this means like there's a counter for like sheets of paper or like a sheet of something. I think it's just this. Yep. Ren neru. So this is like strategy, like saksen o neru, to plan something, to polish a plan. But I gotta make sure I get this right. I think it's that. Yes. And why do I say yes? Because this kanji, uh, of course, it's this, but there also exists a kanji that looks like this. It just doesn't have this line. And sometimes I forget if the kanji character has that line or not. Now, if you're just reading, like if I'm taking the N1 exam, that's not going to matter, right? Because I'll see the kanji and I'll see that line on there. But so when I'm being very picky about stuff like that, it's more for my own sake. Like I really want to get to the level where I'm confident in not only reading Japanese, but also when it comes to writing. I really want to be a good steward of kanji, if you will. So this means like saksen no neru, like to plan, to polish a plan. Renshu, which means like to practice. Shit. Sen Saki. Man, this is so simple, but Saki, Saki, Saki. How did I do Saki? Forgot. Okay. Wow. I should have done this one. And you know what the worst part is? Is this pronunciation also has the word sen. And guess what? The kanji for this is sen arau, which means to wash. Sen saki means ahead, forward, or just in the past. So previous, ahead. So I should have known just by hearing the word sen that this is the writing, this is the way you write it, but just slipped my mind. Moji no ji just means like a character, like that's not right. Uh, like oh, when you hear emoji, that actually comes from Japanese. Emo, which means literally like emotion, emotion character. Believe it or not. Shuju naro, to learn. So we did Renshu and we saw this up there. Shoot, I got this part wrong. Should have been this. Nen toshi just means year. Okay, year. Setsu sai kiru. Shinsetsu, which means kindness. Kiru, which means to cut. That's what it looks like. We're doing it. We're doing pretty good. Shinsetsu. And check this out. My example for this is harakiri, which means like seppuku harakiri. Choose words, example words that really have an impact. Ondo no do, like this is like degree, to degree of something. Ondo, temperature. Kanse to no to. This means like a tower. Kanseto means like I think like the airline control tower. Taifu, typhoon. Dai like is that right? Damn it. I knew I got something wrong. Dai is like dai dokoro, like kitchen. This is like nothingness. Like that is just pathetically written. Muishiki, which means unconsciously, subconsciously. Shikatanai, can't be helped. Cat, pretty simple. Okay. Go ko nochi ushiro, behind. Behind. Neko. Neko, hey, representing. Representing in the chat. Nochi ushiro. So the next book I'm gonna get, by the way, I think I've pinpointed, like, since I've done the 1,000 kanji or so you need for N2, I'm gonna be buying a book for N1, um, and it's called Kanji in Context. So I announced that yesterday. Um, I don't want to break any laws, so I don't think I want to be streaming the page of the book. But what I will do is write out each kanji that I'm learning as new, because my goal will still be to learn about 6 characters a day. So I'll be writing out the characters um, on on my iPad like I am right now, as opposed to showing like a document that kind of shows everything. Like I think like that. Like this is so I use this document to learn all the way from N4 level, which is when kanji is first introduced, all the way to now N2. But N1, they apparently that website didn't have the documents, so I got to buy a book, and that's gonna be the book I use. Just an FYI. So kusa hayai, fast. I didn't say kusa, it's sa. Yeah, sassoku. Nebo, what I did, literally did it today, overslept. But this word, so nebo means oversleep. This word means, weirdly enough, priest and boy. Isn't that weird? I don't know why it's like that, but it is. Butsu means like Buddha. So if you go to Japan, you might see one of many Daibutsu, the big Buddhas. Bukkyo means Buddhism. Four, pretty simple. Kohiroi. Just means wide, spacious. Oh, so actually, if I do this, it's just Hiroshima. Asa, so morning. The balance is just terrible here. Hold on. This means to write. And again, I did start learning kanji from N2 and work my way down to like kaku, like to write, to kaku, show, and all these things. That's why like I might be missing, weirdly enough, the more simple kanji on a higher rate than I am like the more advanced kanji, just because I've been studying them for a longer amount of time. So that's probably why. So many pronunciations, and this just means to go. So, oh wait, that's not right. Is that right? That's better. This means like go, like iku, but you can also say okonau to uh, to occur, right? Ginko, which means bank. This is an important one. So in school, if you're ever in school, or if you're ever in like taking a classic in Japanese, then they might count the lines of your textbook, like ichigyo, nigyo. So they'll be like, you know, uh, Will-san, nigyo yonde kudasai. Nigyo me o yonde kudasai. Read the second line. So I didn't know that until literally I was in Japan. So thought that was interesting. Kibun no ki. This just means like energy, spirit. And I missed a line in there. I knew I missed something. So I got to do that one again. Genki is, one. Doku yomu, to read. Oh God. How do I get like the most easy ones wrong? That's to read. Shoot. So we did this right. Sen, saki, mazu. Mazu means like first of all. Wa hanasu means like talk, converse. Like kaiwa, that's ima. Kaiwa means like conversation. Shu, ju, narao. So we got this wrong earlier. Gotta get it right this time. To learn. Renshu, to practice. Narao, to learn. Daidokoro, which means kitchen. Taifu, which means typhoon. This should stay stage. Um, so you could say like butai, which means stage. Not gonna get you wrong this time, buddy. I didn't realize that that second line exists. And that's why it's important to learn, in my opinion, important to learn how to write. Like otherwise, honestly, if I'm just reading it and I saw this on a piece of paper, that would look right to me. Like I wouldn't think of it, nothing of it. But it's gotta be written properly. And again, just be careful that the top line is longer on this one. The bottom line is shorter. Something to keep in mind. And to read. And we are done. 105 kanji reviewed today. So good review session. Again, I'm only going to be reviewing for a couple of days before I, finalize the book that I'm going to get because it's going to be like, I want to make sure I get the right book. It's going to be long-term dedication and just kind of grind that book. I'll be focusing on that. I think for this week, I'm just going to be reviewing, and hopefully by this weekend, I'll have the new textbook, and I'll start kanji as soon as the book arrives, which could be early as this weekend or next week. Next week. So, but until then, I'll just whoever wants to study kanji or just watch me study and mess up and stuff, feel free to keep joining. Um, tell any friends that you might know that are interested in study kanji. Ask questions in the chat. I'm more than happy to answer questions about the Japanese language, about my life, whatever. Um, Neko, awesome. That is great. I'm really happy. That is like literally my goal. That people come in here and take something away. So whether it's this is the motivation you need to sit down and study for a little bit, or just have a conversation, I'll be here every single evening to study. And but that's it for the stream for tonight, guys. I will see y'all tomorrow. Thanks for watching.